Hey guys, Sergeant First Class Beitz here with the National Guard. In today's video, I'm going to give you a briefing on the National Guard. Now, this video may be helpful if you're trying to explain to a family member or a loved one, a spouse, what the National Guard is, and you're having difficulty relaying that message. Of course, it's also going to help you if you're just trying to find out what the National Guard is and some of the benefits of the National Guard. Now, a little background on me. I've been in the military almost 14 years. I've been in the regular Army, the Army Reserves, and now of course I'm in the Army National Guard. I'm qualified in 5 military occupational specialties: infantry, motor transport operator, chemical specialist, supply specialist, and of course I'm a recruiter now. I have been deployed to Baghdad, Iraq, and that was when I was in the regular Army. Again, the purpose of this video is to give you a better understanding of what the Army National Guard does and some of the benefits the Army National Guard has to offer. In the National Guard, we serve both the state and the federal government. Our state service consists of assisting during natural disasters. Now let me ask you, are you familiar with Hurricane Katrina? The National Guard was there in response to that catastrophe. Not only was the Louisiana National Guard involved, but all the bordering states of Louisiana assisted the Louisiana National Guard. So in the National Guard, we take orders from the governor, but we also take orders from the president. So if the president deems that we need to assist abroad, we will do that as well. Now in the National Guard, we work 1 weekend per month and 2 weeks out of the year, called annual training. Your total commitment is about 40 days a year. Everybody that enlists into the National Guard is required to go to basic training. Basic training is roughly 10 weeks long. At basic training, you're learning the fundamentals of being a soldier. After basic training, you will move on to advanced individual training. Advanced individual training, or AIT, can be 6 weeks long or it can be 80 weeks long, depending upon what job you signed up to do. Some jobs are going to take longer to learn than others. For example, if you want to be a motor transport operator, the training is about 6 or 7 weeks long. If you want to be a linguist, it's about 80 weeks long to learn how to be a linguist. From the date you enlist into the National Guard, you have 270 days before you have to ship to basic training. If you want to ship to basic training sooner than that, you can. But let's say that you enlist into the National Guard and you decide you don't want to ship for 4 months from the date you enlisted. Each month leading up until your ship date, you will drill 1 weekend a month at the Recruit Sustainment Program, or the RSP. At the Recruit Sustainment Program, we are going to prep you for basic training. Also at the RSP, you're going to receive pay and benefits. As soon as you enlist into the National Guard, you're going to start receiving benefits. You're going to get your military ID. You're going to get your uniforms. Basically, the purpose of the RSP is to prep you for basic training, so when you ship out, you're leaving with a level of confidence and understanding that you didn't have prior to. Some of the benefits in the National Guard. Of course, we provide money for college, tuition assistance, 100% tuition assistance. The Montgomery GI Bill. This is $368 per month that gets directly deposited into your bank account, and you can use the money however you deem fit: rent, school supplies, etc. Now, when you enlist in the National Guard, you're guaranteed tuition assistance and the Montgomery GI Bill. If you score over a 50 on the ASVAB, that qualifies you for the GI Bill kicker. Now, not all positions come with the GI Bill kicker, so when you're with your recruiter and you're looking at different jobs, you need to ask if the position comes with the GI Bill kicker or not. The GI Bill kicker is an additional $200 per month on top of the $368. Now, depending upon what state you're in, the National Guard may provide a state incentive for college. If you're trying to determine if your state has a state incentive, leave it in the comments below what state you're from and I'll get you an answer. Okay, now moving on. The National Guard has a student loan repayment program where we pay up to $50,000 back on existing student loans. You must score at least a 50 on the ASVAB to qualify for student loan repayment, or SLRP, and you must enlist in a 6x2 contract or an 8x0 contract. A 6x2 contract is what most people enlist into. 6 years, you're drilling with the National Guard. You're working 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the year. The additional 2 years, you're in the inactive Ready Reserve, where a couple times a year the National Guard is going to contact you to make sure that your number and your address and your personal data is still accurate in the system. In the case of a natural disaster where we need more assistance in the National Guard, you can be called up or activated during those 2 years to assist with that situation. The 8x0 contract basically means you're drilling for 8 years and you have no time in the IRR or the inactive ready reserve. Let's talk about some of the training in the National Guard. We have roughly 200 different types of positions. We have veterinarian techs, we have engineers, we have medics, we have infantry. We have a wide variety of positions. How you qualify for those positions is based on your ASVAB score and the line scores that consist within that ASVAB test. How you qualify for positions in the National Guard is by taking the ASVAB. Your recruiter will then get your ASVAB scores and will look at your line scores and determine what jobs you qualify for. When you go to basic training and advanced individual training, that training is going to convert to college credits, which will be honored by the college that you go to. Of course, the training you get from us in the National Guard is going to relate to a civilian skill. So if you enlist as a military police officer, and you come back from training and you want to be in law enforcement, that training you got from the National Guard is going to assist you in getting a position in law enforcement. Of course, for being in the National Guard, you're also going to get veterans preference, which is going to assist you in getting any position. Are you interested in that real high speed HUA, jumping out of planes, jumping out of helicopters, Ranger School, Sniper School, Special Forces? We have that in the National Guard. Okay, let's talk about pay in the National Guard. When you enlist into the National Guard, mostly everybody comes in as an E1 private. For doing 2 days out of the month as an E1 private, you're starting at $193.20 for 2 days. As an E2, $234.20, and as an E3, $246.28. Now, it's easy to get promoted from E1 to E2 and E2 to E3. From E1 to E2, 1, you can take a Stripes for Skills test, or 2, you can refer a friend, and if they join, you'll get promoted from E1 to E2. You can also get promoted from E2 to E3 if you refer a second friend and they enlist. Now, when you go to basic training and advanced training, your meals are provided, your lodging's provided, basically everything is provided for you. So all the money that you make in training, you'll be able to stack up in your bank account. In E1, in basic training, makes $1,449 per month. In E2, $1,756, and in E3, $1,847 per month. If you're married or have children, you're also going to get a basic housing allowance. To figure out exactly how much you're going to make, type in BAH calculator in Google, go to the website, enter your information, and you will get the exact amount you're going to make. You're going to have to type in your rank and your zip code. For a more in-depth breakdown of pay, see my video on how much I'm going to make in the National Guard. Some additional benefits in the National Guard: health insurance and life insurance. Our health insurance is excellent. Federal retirement plan, do 20 years and get paid for the rest of your life. If you're a high school junior, you can enlist at the age of 17 and retire at the age of 37. Space age travel, take free flights around the US, Guam, Puerto Rico, Germany. Basically, space age travel is around the world. The only catch to space age travel is when you get to your destination, you're going to have to parachute in. But hey, it's a free flight. I'm just kidding. The plane actually lands. In the National Guard, once you have completed basic training and advanced training, that makes you eligible for the VA home loan. You can purchase a house without putting any money down. I will leave a link in the description that explains more on the VA home loan. Again, once you've enlisted into the National Guard, you're going to get your military ID. That military ID is going to get you discounts at motels, restaurants, gyms, Disney World. Almost any place you can think of honors military discounts. Looking back last year, I saved about $12,000 just in military discounts. Also, that military ID is going to allow you on to military installations. Those installations have tax-free shopping throughout the installation and a lot of things to do that you'll get access to. So again, this was Sergeant First Class Beitz. I'm with the Army National Guard. If you have any questions about the National Guard, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will respond as quickly as I can. Find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/TNARNG.recruiter. I just wanted to say thank you very much for all the support lately. It really does mean a lot to me.